Morning, Raptor Freak Alexiot's here. Saturday, so that means it's time for the Saturday Share Love Club. Every Saturday morning, we like to celebrate and show gratitude towards somebody involved in the Raptors organization. Last week, it was Scotty Barnes. The week before that, Nick Nurse, Masai Ujiri, different people like that is who we're celebrating and talking about. And you know whose week it is this week? It's Mr. All NBA third team, Pascal Siakam. Good morning, Tom Duke. Let's go, Spicy P and Tom Duke in the morning on a Saturday. That's right. Pascal Siakam had a nice interview yesterday. He did a media interview with the reporters and answered some questions on his All NBA selection this week. He was still down in the sunny islands when he did his interview, and he's just talking about his plans for this offseason and how he feels where he is with his game in his career right now. It's very, very interesting how he looks at himself as an athlete, because I'm going to tell you something about Pascal that is different than most other people. This guy is like not believing the hype. This guy is not believing what other people say. This guy has a whole other idea of the levels that he can get to. That, people like Charles and Shaq may say that Toronto Raptors do not have any superstars. Well, I beg to differ, because this is what this man Siakam is saying. He's got a big purse. He makes a lot of money. He could easily sit on his laurels and just take the money and just show up and play and go through the motions, and that would be fine. But you know what he's doing? He is figuring out how to get to another level. And that's what he was talking about yesterday, that he feels like inside he has a whole other level of consistency and play that he can get to even higher than being all NBA third team this season. So look out, NBA. I believe him, because really what it is him getting more efficient and more purposeful and understanding exactly what he's doing on the court at all times. That his work at Rico Hines in the offseason and his work with Earl Watson specifically is the kind of work that can really tinker with his game and get it exactly right and more efficient and more high probability to make shots. Yeah, Tom Duke's saying 28 years young and wants to get better. Yeah, he's only 28. The thing about players in their arc of their careers is you have your young development phase, like a Scotty Barnes right now, where you're starting to realize your potential and your possibilities. And then you kind of get into kind of like more comfortable learning and being a little bit more savvy as a vet. And then as you get to a level where you're kind of like, all right, I'm established, like Pascal is, then you fine tune things. And this is the difference between an intelligent player and a not a very intelligent player. Because a not a very intelligent player will just be like, yeah, this is me, I'm playing. But an intelligent player will look at it and really analyze it and really work hard on certain areas of their game to make themselves even better. And Pascal is one of the latter. He is the one who's going to look at his game and fine tune it and tinker with it. We already know a couple of the things that he's going to do this summer. He's really, really going to work hard on his three-point shot. That is so important, and it's good, because if he can become a really consistent three-point threat where they cannot lay off of him, like if he's making the threes pretty dead-eye, he's pretty good three-point shot already, but if he's way more consistent next year, they have to come out and guard him. Well, look, he's going right around them and going straight to the basket because they have to guard him close on the three-point line. And I really want to see this. I want to see him make them pay for laying off of him around the three-point line. And he will do this. I totally believe in him. And then, of course, the other areas that are kind of important for him and his development this summer is continuing to discover his ability as a playmaker on the court. That he is really like Scotty Barnes. They are both point forwards. He has a playmaking ability. He has ability to make his teammates better around him and set them up for good shots. And he could get even better at that, like if he works on that some more. So I really, really love that's what he was talking about the most yesterday in his press conference, that he's looking for those areas to improve and get better, and he's going to go and do it this summer. I believe him when he says this kind of stuff, because, Pascal is serious. He's very, very serious about things and stuff like that. So awesome to have him on our team. Once again, part of it is like when he came on the Raptors, I've said this before, I did not believe in him. I did not see him for who he has become now. I really did think he would be a bench role player and just be a defensive rebounder, a specialist. I didn't think he had any kind of offensive game whatsoever. And I have been more and more surprised as the years go by with how Pascal has blossomed into a complete player. That I never saw the offensive side of him really when he first came in. I just saw raw athletic talent. And I said, well, this guy will be great on defense and he probably will get a lot of rebounds for us. I was really pigeonholing him into being kind of just like Dennis Rodman. And I shouldn't have done that because this is the thing. I did it myself as a Raptor freak. To everybody else, especially people who discount the Raptors and look down on Pascal Siakam, they're going to really poo-poo him if somebody who likes him is going to do that. And that's what I love about Pascal is that his ability to see himself and perceive himself and who he wants to be and his vision is not clouded or put down by other people's possible perceptions of what he should be and who he could be also. That's badass. And that's just basically a dude taking control of his destiny and doing what he can to do it. And oh man, I'm so glad he's on our team. There's a reason why Masai Ujiri treats Pascal Siakam like his own son, that he is so beaming with pride about anything about Pascal Siakam. Because Pascal Siakam was a name that got called in the draft and there were chuckles. There were a little bit of, who's that name? Pascal Siakam. You know, that happens sometimes with the Raptors when we dig these gems out of the earth that, you know, people don't even know who they are and they laugh. Bruno Caboclo. Well, Bruno Caboclo is not a good example, but Pascal Siakam, holy crap. That's what I'm saying. That Masai gets pride from this because this is his own creation. This is someone he diamond in the rough. He took and cleaned off, and you know, seen how good he could be, and boom! All of a sudden, we have this guy that's just a All NBA top player in the league, and I love that so much. There's a lot of things about Pascal's personality that are just fantastic. Like, you know, he's just a fun dude, and you could tell this season. And different than other seasons, that he was comfortable, that he felt happy, that he was having a good time. Because there's been other seasons in recent years where it's looked like he's been stressed out. It's looked like he's been tired. It's looked like he's been feeling like he's got to carry too much. It's looking like he's like not feeling like he's having a hard time. But this year, it looked like he was like, it's not that he was coasting. It looked like things were easier. He was lighter. You could tell he was really enjoying and having a passion for the game and just like enjoying showing up. And, you know, some of these superstar guys that make a lot of money, people like James Harden, Ben Simmons, you know, these other people, they lose a little bit of passion for the game when they go through adversity and weirdness with different things. And you never want to lose that pure love of basketball that Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam and different people like that have for the game. Because when you lose that, you lose part of what makes you good on the basketball court. It's the passion and the love for the sport in itself. And that happens to a lot more players than we talk about, stuff like that. So another thing I want to talk about, and I'd love for you guys to talk about what you love about Pascal Siakam also and different things and how you feel like what's going to happen with him next season and different things like that. But we got to talk about Game 6 in Boston last night. Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Because, all right, listen, I told you, Miami fan, you got to give Kyle a chance to redeem himself. You got to give him a chance to come into Game 6 and help y'all win that game, which was exactly what he did last night. I'm so in awe of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler did a performance last night in Boston that's going to be historic and known for a long time. And oh my gosh, does Boston fans hate Kyle Lowry and a bunch of things about the Miami Heat today, but they do respect Jimmy Butler. There's one thing that they're doing today. They are respecting and they're in awe of Jimmy Butler today. Bill Simmons tweeted it this morning. Jimmy Butler shredded a really good Boston defense last night, getting 40-something points, almost getting 50 points in an elimination game where these guys are not totally healthy. They are hurt. And Lowry, wow, very gutsy play because he looked like he couldn't even walk when he got off the bus and he was walking into the Boston arena. He was limping, all kinds of crazy stuff. Tom Duke's saying he's becoming a great vet too. Just if it's showing consistently, like I've seen the Heat win for sure. Wow, Jimmy, 43 points. You're talking about Pascal. That's what he was saying, is that he wants to be more consistent at a higher level. in different ways. And I think that that's a good goal for a lot of the Raptors, whether it's Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, Scotty, they all need to be more consistent at a higher level. That if they could each all kind of be like counted on for a certain chunk of the production and the things that the Raptors need to do to win games next season, that'd be great. Because often it's kind of like two guys have to do heavy lifting. There'll be two Raptors that are on in a game and they're doing badass stuff. And then they'll have a couple of other guys that aren't firing on their cylinders with them on the court. I'd like to see everybody consistently give a base amount of effort, and then not so much so some certain players have to go above and beyond so much. Kind of like what Jimmy had to do last night for Miami Heat. We don't want anybody to have to go and get almost 50 points to help us get enough points to win. We'd rather have like 2 or 3 or 4 guys that get 20-something points each, something like that. That'd be better. G saying Pascal and Scotty duo will be deadly. Oh my gosh, G. It's got me salivating as a Raptor fan about this because it's serious. Like we already saw it this season that there's a synergy between the two of them. There's a dual point forward attack that is going to be very interesting to try and discover more about it next season. That, Scotty with a little bit more time under his belt and him like feeling more comfortable on an NBA court, and Pascal, continuing to grow and becoming more consistent, like I was just talking about, the sky's the limit because that's an attack. Normally if you have a designated point guard, the defense knows who to pick up and kind of transition and stuff. But if you don't have it set every time down the court, and it's not obvious who's going to be getting the ball and bringing it up the court and pushing it, you can't totally get ready for whoever's going to bring up the ball. And that helps our transition offense, that we can have them really guessing. That at one point Pascal's handling the ball and bringing up the court or something, or other. If Scotty's on a fast break bringing the ball up the court, it keeps them guessing. And I like that. I like that a lot about the aspect of how we can possibly run our offense for next year. I'm not even talking about Fred running the ball too at times, because we know he will be doing point guard stuff from time to time still, even if we lean more into our point forwards next season. Fred VanVleet is a great safety for that, just in case. Like if the point forwards are not working out and something, then we revert back to the old point guard with Fred VanVleet running the show. And I think that he'll be such a great catch and shoot guy off the ball, that this is really how it's going to develop next year. That Fred is not going to be like a point guard next year, only when needed in emergency reasons. Like maybe we're having trouble in the game, we can't score. Then Fred does his normal thing like this past year, where he stays the ship and kind of gets of a basket when we're struggling on our offense and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really interesting. You guys, let's talk about this Miami game last night, because there's all kinds of fun stuff to talk about it with there. Tom Duke saying Kyle swearing as his instant reaction, going to get a fine, laugh out loud. Listen, Kyle's going to get in a lot of trouble from the game last night. I honestly believe that thing that he did after he fouled out to Al Horford from the bench, that did not look good. But I mean, listen, Horford was missing his shots all night anyway. He missed 1 of 8 three-pointers last night. So it's not like he had been missing them all night already. But it didn't look good. And like Celtics fans up in arms. They're like, how the hell is this man playing defense off the bench? And did he touch him? He didn't do anything. I don't think he actually touched him. But it looked really bad from the angle and the camera angle and what he did. And he did miss the shot and stuff like that. So it's hilarious. I love Kyle for it. I think it's badass, but he might get in some trouble for this. And if he was swearing too and stuff like that, listen, this is what you get, Miami Heat fans, with Kyle Lowry. You get disappointing goose egg game 5s, and then you get game 6 where, boom, he hits a huge 3 to break the game open at the end. And that's what Heat fans are saying today, that the Kyle Lowry three-pointer late that was the big shot that helped them get over the hump in the last couple of minutes of the game to win this game. And there's a lot of weird talk about the referees today. Like both sides think the referees were not that good at different times. I can especially see how Boston fans feel about it. But Miami fans were also feeling like the refs were kind of making it a little easy for Boston to possibly still come back in the last couple of minutes with some of their weird calls and stuff. Listen, the refs are going to get a lot of scrutiny. I think it's hilarious that Boston Celtics Nation is so upset about the referees from last night, because honestly, y'all shut the fuck up. You guys get so much of the benefit from the referees in different ways. And sure, I agree. The NBA loves to extend playoff series. to game sevens, especially with a marquee matchup like Miami and Boston. There is some truth to the purpose of trying to help the team that's the underdog extend the series. I completely agree with that, Boston. But also, you have to, and I know a lot of your fans are saying this also this morning, is you guys had the chance to kill the Miami Heat last night and you did not. And you may really, really regret it on Sunday when your season's over and the Miami Heat are facing the Golden State Warriors in the finals this year. So, yeah, wow, what an epic game. Another game to add to the legend of the GOAT, the greatest Raptor of all time, Kyle Lowry, stepping up big for the Miami Heat and keeping them alive. But Jimmy Butler, holy crap, wow. That dude should have been all NBA in the place of LeBron James. Just like I said yesterday, there's no way that Jimmy Butler's not all NBA, especially after a game like last night. Holy crap. Tom Duke saying, gee, totally agree and excited for those two to take over. Yeah, Scotty and Pascal will be a great dynamic duo. And anyone who thinks that they can't coexist or play together, they're stupid because these guys are both super unselfish. And I think Scotty really looks up to Pascal a lot. The first person that posted Pascal getting all NBA third team this week was Scotty Barnes. As soon as it went up and was posted, Scotty was the first person that echoed it, reverberated, and was congratulating Pascal. And I love seeing that. I loved seeing all the guys posting it. Precious, Fee, Delano, they were all celebrating Pascal's all NBA third team this week. And it is a big deal. And as I said in my freak out yesterday, nobody should discount Pascal for getting it because he truly deserved it. And he had the great stats. He had a lot of really great games where he took over and helped us really win. He was the man and stuff like that. So he is belonging in that whole group of players that's in all NBA. He is one of the top 15 players in the league. I truly believe that. At times I feel like he's one of the top 10. So stuff like that. And let's see, Tom Duke's calling it Showtime in Toronto. That I don't think that that's far off from what we could possibly do. Now, especially if the NBA starts changing the rules a little bit this summer to allow for more fast break, more up-tempo kind of basketball again. That's a huge criticism that people have about today's game, is that they've taken away an exciting element of the game from the history of it, is the fast break and seeing dunks and transition and seeing amazing plays in transition, like 3-on-1 and stuff, and no more of this fouling people in transition. Because if they can change this rule, and I mean, the open path foul is pretty good, clear path foul, but they need to make it more like dissuading to the teams from fouling people when they're getting out on the break. Like they really, really need to do this because it is killing part of the excitement of the league. And if they do that, that will benefit our Raptors in that combination of point forwards if we can really get out there and run. Like you see how Delano's ready to get up and down the court. We see Scotty Barnes push the ball very quickly for a man his size also. And I want to see more of that. I really, really want to do. So NBA, unleash your horses. Let them ride. Let them go. Wild horses, Rolling Stones. Let them go. Stop fencing them in. Stop letting teams stop one of the best parts of the NBA game, and that's the fast break. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see. G saying, yes, Tom, will be so fun to watch them storm through the lanes, dunk, pass out, and have fun doing it. Woohoo! Run it, screams NN, Nick Nurse. Yeah, it will be so much fun. And like I said, this year for the Raptors was really the basic primer of getting to know each other. Hello, my name is Scott. Hello, Scott. My name is Spicy P. It's just, hey, hi, first day of the convention. This is all the people that are here. And then you get into the meat of the really knowing each other and really working off each other. Like, I want to see this accrued synergy between Pascal Siakam and young Scotty Wayne Barnes, that these two young men can get on the same page more and more. We are going to see some electrifying, fantastic plays in all kinds of ways. Because this is the thing, their duality and their interchangeability about who is the passer and who's the finisher is sublime. Is that one of them could be the person that's making the dunk, and one of them could be the dunker, one of them could be the passer. There's so many permutations and combinations that can happen off of such all-around great talents like Pascal Siakam and Scotty Barnes. So I love this pairing. I love that we're talking about them as a team, as a pair today, because that really is the near future of the Raptors, is this really discovering what this dynamic duo can do, powering up the Raptors and pushing their offense together. It's good. When is the new season gonna start? Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Let's see. G saying Golden State Warriors were not in the playoffs for 2 seasons and just built around their core. They didn't make crazy trades, but just had patience. That's the route I want us to take and think Masai will take. I think that that's a good comparison. That, Golden State hit a wall when we beat them in the playoffs, in the finals, put them out and closed down their building and ended their dynasty at that time. Well, did we end their dynasty? I don't know if we did. Maybe it went into like kind of a coma for like 2 years where they were kind of just figuring it out, regrouping. They didn't completely blow it up, obviously, because they kept their 3 main important dynasty players, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. And they just kind of fiddle around on the outside. That is very smart, sound things. I think that too much in the NBA, in the media, when there's failure on an NBA team, there's too many calls for blowing it all up to the ground, like leveling it and starting completely over. I never have agreed with that. That every NBA team has good players involved and that you want to keep a certain amount of your experienced core from over time. And that is the same thing with us. That if they have Steph, Klay, and Draymond, and they hung around through the tough couple of years, and then they got back to the finals again after that, and they kept the same core, that's what we want to do. Except our guys are OG, Fred, and Pascal. These are our 3 core guys from the championship time that we want to stick around. That's why I get so mad with all the trade talk and the flippant, easy, like, well, let's just trade Fred to them. Let's just trade Pascal. Fuck that. Those guys are our Steph Curry and Draymond Green to keep our team up at a good high level, like the Golden State Warriors have now done after having 2 years down years. Now they're back in the big show. And that we should be looking at it the same kind of wavelength pattern with our team. That, hey, maybe we have the Tampa year, woo, and then this year was, on the way back up. And then maybe we will come back up more like the Warriors did this year, as far as getting back to the finals and stuff like that. So, yeah, I agree with this, G, that it's just smart. Like, why do I keep saying this. If you get a flat tire, you don't throw the whole car out. You just fix the tire and you keep going. It's like, don't overreact. Alistair saying Boston is the team to beat. Alistair, you were saying this yesterday. You're really like big on Boston. Like, listen, I hate the Celtics. This is purely personal animosity that drives me to say I hate the Celtics. I want them to lose. I know you're saying that they're the team to beat. You might be right, but we'll have to see. They have a tall order now. That Sunday in Miami is not going to be easy. That in some ways the momentum is on the Miami Heat side. Jimmy Butler looks like a god at this point, this is the kind of thing where it's like in other series, this playoff, teams have regretted not ending the series with certain teams, and they've come back to bite them. And that this game last night in Boston may be like this moment where Celtics fans are just like, why did we not win? They're already kind of talking like that today. They've already kind of given up, some of them. And they completely are conceding that they feel like Boston's going to lose tomorrow in Miami. And a lot of them are turning on Jason Tatum. A lot of them are saying he's not really a superstar. And like, it's crazy. Like Celtics fans, their hornet nest just got beat down out of the tree and they're buzzing and they're all pissed off today, Celtics fans. And it's hilarious. I love all the hate towards Kyle Lowry. These Celtics fans are saying that Kyle Lowry is the most hated man in the NBA to them right now. And I love it. I love it. Good job, Kyle. You got the right people mad at you. I love it. Let's see. But we'll have to see, Alistair. I mean, I can't count them out completely, but they got to win in Miami now to get the finals. And I still think Golden State's going to win whoever gets there. But if it's going to be Golden State and Miami, I'm going to be rooting for Miami on the down low in a way, too, because I do want Kyle to get another ring. And if it's Kyle versus Steph in the finals, That's such a badass matchup. And we got Kyle 1 over Steph 1-0. Why don't we try and get Kyle 2-0 and let the East win again this year also? Let's see. Tom Duke. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up. This was something I kept forgetting to talk about this week and something I wanted to talk about. How weird is the hate between Barkley and Golden State Warriors fans? It's not, though, because there's a long history of this. Like, it goes back to him when he was a player and stuff like that. Like, when Barkley was on the Suns, he was not a big fan of the Warriors then. You know, he has this whole feud with Chris Webber from when Chris Webber was on Golden State in the very beginning of his career. That he talked a lot of shit to Chris Webber, and Chris Webber talked shit back and like trying to be the new Barkley and stuff like that. And Barkley was still playing at that time, and there was an animosity there. Well, now Barkley straight up said, I hate Golden State. And like he rode into the game on a horse in Dallas the other day. And he's saying, I'm fully with Dallas. I love Dallas, even if they're going to lose. And now Golden State hates him. Their fans really hate him to the point where they're throwing objects at him when they're having the inside the NBA outside, the whole dais. And they're like behind them and they're throwing shirts and bottles at him and stuff like that. He got up like we want to throw him back. Listen, this is really bad. Like there's a lot of things in society that are unraveling and really looking like messed up. Like what is going on with people? Like you got to chill out. You got to figure this out. I know a lot of us have been in our houses for the last 2 years and pent up, but that doesn't mean that we can bring this bad behavior to places like some of the things that we've seen. Like you should not be throwing things at Charles Barkley. I don't care. It's just like, listen, this is part of the theater. He's partly a clown, somebody who comes out and is entertainment for you guys. You don't do this because listen, you can endanger him and you look bad. I think that part of it is the online thing where people are too comfortable disrespecting people online, that they can get away with it. And now that it's carried over into real life with people throwing things at Charles Barkley, y'all need to cut that out. You look bad, Golden State Warriors fans. And listen, you know, we're getting dissed for cheering for Joel Embiid getting hurt and different things like that. Well, your fan nation looks real bad throwing things at Charles Barkley, Golden State fans. And there's no place for this kind of stuff. We all need to get reined in as a society right now because there's a lot of stupid shit happening. And we need to start being better in how we behave and what we're doing and things like that. Because there's a lot of bad stuff happening and I'm sick of it. And that Barkley stuff is part of it. It's looking really, really bad. So let's see. I love all the stuff here. Yeah, I don't like seeing the violence. I don't like seeing them throwing things at him. That's never right. And, you know, he got really mad at that. I was just saying Golden State are just too good. Plus, they have 5 key players do not play. 3 of them are lotteries. They get back to the finals without KD. Yeah, I really do like Golden State's chances here. I mean, listen, they know the terrain. They've been there before. You never got to count out Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, especially now that Thompson is fully healthy and back. That is such a deadly weapon. And then, of course, they say the defensive genius of Draymond Green. I don't always see it, but he does have a factor on the court that is a big thing. Now, how that interacts with the Miami team, if they win tomorrow, that'll be interesting. How that interacts with the Boston team, if they win tomorrow, that'll be interesting because neither Miami or Boston are pushovers. And that Golden State will have a real task on their hands. Like, I also want to know which team will have home court depending on who. I didn't even look at that with record-wise. Will Golden State have home court in the finals against these teams? Or I think that the Eastern teams have better records than Golden State. I'm not totally sure. I'd have to go look at that. That's going to be a factor in it, is who has the home court in which matchup. That'll help me determine which one's going to be. G's saying Golden State is deep. They took those 2 years of not making the playoffs. Yes, injuries were a factor to build their depth and not make knee-jerk trades. Yeah, and they tried stuff and it didn't work too. Like they drafted James Wiseman and he has not worked out at all. It's not like they did everything successfully, but they did enough successfully and they didn't mortgage the farm by sending somebody like Draymond away and stuff like that. And also from the comment before, with no KD, this really solidifies Steph Curry's legacy. That in some ways, the bandwagoning of KD coming to the Warriors and them winning a couple championships together is really easy championships in some ways. In fact, that's part of the reason why I'm so proud of the Raptors for ending that. because, like I said, at the beginning of that season when we won the championship, I had already penciled in Golden State to win the championship just because of the pure power of their roster on the paper. You look at them on paper and you're just like, okay, this team's going to win. Why are we even playing this season? Well, that's not what happened. We had to play it all out, see how things happen with injuries, with other different things, and boom, Toronto Raptors' first NBA championship, and that was badass. But yeah, they've always looked kind of ominous on paper in different ways. Now, in some ways, I feel like they're thinner in some ways, but you guys are saying they're deeper in some ways with their bench and stuff. But I don't know. But I do agree they've been very smart with their management and not doing stupid moves and panicking with how they've done in the last 2 years. That's part of it also. A franchise will panic when they're not up to that level that they normally are at. So Tom Duke's saying 2019, 2020 season, Golden State Warriors had 15 regular season wins. Yowza. Yeah, that is crazy. I know that a lot of that was the injuries and stuff like that. And their spirit was kind of broken by us. Like, we broke them. I'm not lying. We broke the Warriors nation for at least a year or so like that. But they came back. And that's just the sign of a true champion. Those kind of guys are true winners, and they didn't give up. And now they're back where they feel like they belong. And that's in the finals. Fredo's here. Good to see you, Fredo. Here every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, all summer long. I'm going to be doing this every single day. So if you want to talk Raptors on any given day, Fredo, 9:30 a.m. here on the Raptor Freak channel, we'll be talking. Let's be honest here. 2019 championship, you got because Warrior injuries. Bullshit, motherfucker. I'm going to tell you right now, Fredo, that even if Kevin Durant was fully healthy or Klay Thompson was fully healthy, we were a team of destiny and we were going to beat them. We can't say whether we would have beaten you guys or not. I think we would have beat y'all. I think that Kawhi is that kind of level of player. Pascal was just as good. And I think y'all were going to lose anyway, Warriors. That listen, you can, everybody that says that is stupid. Just stop. Just stop. Whoever shows up plays. And you don't know for sure whether you guys, the Warriors, would have beat us or not. I think we would have beat the ass anyway. I don't think you guys were going to win either way. The Toronto was the best team with the best Hall of Famers on it at that point with Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka. You look at that championship team and tell me that that team couldn't beat Golden State with their full complement. We could have. So don't get it twisted. I hate this narrative. And it's only American fans and stupid ass motherfuckers who say this shit over and over again. Every single year, somebody's hurt. Well, you know what? Maybe they shouldn't have been hurt. And then maybe they might have won. But I don't think they would have anyway. So don't even bring that garbage in here, Fredo, because it's bullshit. It is bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. You guys were hurt. They were hurt. So what? Even if they weren't hurt, I think we would have beat your ass anyway. And that's exactly how I feel about it, is that you can't say that. You don't know. Kawhi Leonard was playing at a certain level of destiny. And, you know, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, all these guys were playing at a very high level. And woulda, coulda, shoulda. I believe myself that we would have beat them with KD. We would have beat them with Klay. If they were 100%, it wouldn't have fucking mattered. Toronto was getting a championship that year. That's how I feel. So let's just say we can disagree on this because there's no fucking point because it happened the way it did. But I believe that they would have beat them anyway. It didn't matter if they were healthy or not. We were going to beat them anyway. Trust me. G's saying, nah, Raps had the best defense in the playoffs, beat Golden State all year. Exactly. G's right. We beat them consistently all year with their full team and different times and stuff like that. And we did have the best defense that year. We really, really fucking did. Trust me. We really did. All right. Tom Duke saying, what? Get real. And let's see. All right. Yeah, we'll go into this today. G saying, and had many stats to prove they were the better team. Fredo saying, hell, the Warriors running. They don't, though, Fredo. That nobody's running nobody off the court. Toronto fucked up Philadelphia. Toronto fucked up Milwaukee. We fucked up Golden State, and we won a championship. And there's no asterisk talk or any of that bullshit either, Fredo. Fuck off with your bullshit with your asterisks. We could say every championship has an asterisk. The Lakers had asterisks in the 80s when Boston Celtics were hurt. The Boston Celtics had asterisks when the Lakers were hurt. There's always somebody hurt in the finals. And it just so happened it was Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. We couldn't help that. We won a championship. So fuck right off. You can't change that. And your asterisk bullshit needs to go fuck off too. I'll say that to your face, Fredo. If I saw you in person, I'd tell you to fuck off with your bullshit too. All right, G saying Kawhi and Lowry were playing injured, and OG was out of the playoffs. Funny how Golden State beat a bunch of injured teams and no one talks about it. Exactly. Listen, I'm not even going to tarnish y'all's championships by saying this kind of stupid bullshit. What about these series with Cleveland? Come on now, Golden State Warriors fan. Fuck you with your stupid shit. You get asterisks too, bitch, with your fucking injury-ridden winning championships. We're getting an asterisk for that one. So this turnaround spare play. You fucking played injured teams too, Warrior fan. So fuck right off with your stupid ass shit. We beat your ass either way, motherfucker. I don't give a shit who shows up. We will beat your ass. Oh my God, we will. All right, let's see. G saying Golden State Warriors beat teams without Kawhi, Kyrie, Love, CP3. Won't talk about that though, will you? Exactly, G. Thank you for setting him straight. Fucking dumbass Golden State fan. Tom Duke's saying two-way street. What team goes through the playoffs without injury? Exactly. Oh my gosh. I'm not even going to read your bullshit, Fredo, because you're so fucking stupid. You get asterisks on all your fucking shit. Let's see what happens next round. See, I'm even talking positively about your team, but you're a dumbass Warriors fan who come here and talking shit. See, I think your team might win this year, but maybe not. Now I want fucking Kyle Lowry to beat your dumb ass. You're pissing me off with your bullshit. Fucking Warriors fans are fucking classless throwing shit at Charles Barkley. What a bunch of fucking thugs and pieces of shit Golden State Warriors Nation is. See, now you got me all riled up talking shit about y'all. All right, listen. You know what? Golden State had most of their runs against injured teams, but keep up the BS? Exactly. Okay, so Seymour just clarified for me. Warriors will have home advantage in the finals. Thank you, Seymour, for the information. Asterisks every year. Asterisks every year. That's right. Shanky's saying, right, Tom, every championship would have asterisks. Every championship would have an asterisk. You could have a fucking sixth man that's hurt, and you'd be like, oh, that's an asterisk. This is fucking bullshit. Steph Curry wins another ring. That hurts KD legacy, showing that the Warriors can win with. I've been saying this, Fredo. There's no reason for you to fucking come here and put down our championship when I'm talking good about the Warriors. I'm saying Steph Curry will have a great legacy if he wins without KD again. Because he won his first one without KD. I'd like to see him win another one without KD and learn and build his legend. Because to me, once he gets this championship this year, if he wins, then he'll be even with LeBron. And then we can start talking about how he's better than LeBron. That's what I'm all about right there. So let's not get it twisted. There's no reason for you to aim a gun at us. History is history. It went down the way it is. And do not slight our 2019 championship by saying it deserves an asterisk, you motherfucker. Because I will tell you right now, it does not. We earned that shit. We overcame the bias of a fucking racist-ass, gun-loving country called America and won a goddamn championship in your fucking sport in your country, motherfuckers. So you don't tell me what an asterisk counts on what. Because Toronto earned their fucking 2019 championship. And don't come with me with that bullshit again. Because I will cuss every motherfucker who comes into this stream with that asterisk bullshit talk. I will every fucking time. And I will talk up Steph Curry. So stay on the right page with us, Fredo. And don't get on my wrong side. I will tell you right now. G saying, yeah, but love how they only point out the Raptors. Shaking my head. Bucks beat Nets without Kyrie. Lakers beat Heat without Bam and Butler. Golden State beat teams with many injuries, but Raptors. I know, it's just this bullshit American bullshit. Fuck you, America, for fucking discounting the Toronto Raptors championship. In fact, we're more impressive that we won it because none of y'all wanted us to. So fuck y'all. That is a bigger accomplishment when there's so much inertia and force against you winning and then you fucking win. That is more impressive than any of your bullshit. Because I'll tell you right now, the Boston Celtics, the Golden State Warriors, they get fucking red carpets rolled out for them to get to the finals. You think the NBA wanted us in the finals? No, they did not. We went against the script and we won a championship when nobody wanted it on that side of the border. So you better fucking get with the program and realize that that is very, very impressive, Toronto Raptors championship. So I'm just sick of this shit. All this bullshit. It's been fucking 3 years. Start recognizing and respecting it. I'm so sick of it. All right, let me see. Tom Duke is saying, boo. Curry is so the real deal. He's saying Curry over LeBum. I'm with Tom Duke on this. I absolutely agree with this also, that Steph Curry, I want his legend to be more than LeBron's. LeBron can have all the individual stats and everything, But Steph Curry, in some ways, is the greatest player in the current crop of this generation because he changed the game in such a deep way, literally deep with his 3-point shooting. So I like that. I will give him credit and stuff like that. I'm not coming here to tear down the Golden State Warriors, but I fucking will if somebody's trying to come tear down the Raptors. G saying Raptors beat Golden State without Kawhi that year, with KD scoring 50 points at their arena and had a much better defensive rating. Fred kept Curry's points down the most in the league. That's right. There's so much evidence that we probably would have beat the Golden State Warriors in the finals regardless of who showed up for them. That we were beating them consistently all year. We had answers for them, and we had a good game plan. So stop poo-pooing our shit. This fucking bullshit. We're going to get another championship, and y'all going to fucking figure out another way to fucking make excuses for why we didn't deserve to win it or that we deserve an asterisk or some bullshit. Oh, my gosh. Alistair saying, whose fault was it KD was hurt? I know. Whose fault was it? It was your trainer. It was your people that tried to put him out there when he shouldn't have been out there. And then y'all paid for it. That's part of the reason why they were garbage for 2 years, is because two of their main important players had to sit out whole entire years because they gambled playing them against us in the finals that year. Yep. Can't change the past. We got that chip, baby. We got that chip. We got that chip with Dip. Oh, yeah. Alistair saying, without Curry, Golden State Warriors don't win no matter what. That's actually true. I believe that if they did not have Steph Curry, he's the most important player in the ingredients for them to have championship DNA is Stephen Curry for sure. All right, Fredo, you love the passion. I appreciate that. That's all right. All right, let's see. Tom Duke is saying, sorry, Fredo, but got to agree with Lexi. Cheers, bud. Alistair saying, y'all blew a 3-1 lead to old LeBron. Oh, yeah, bring it up. Okay, yeah, let's open up the wounds. Thank you, Alistair, for having this, memory that's telling us, yeah, we could point out a lot of history about Golden State and stuff like that. I mean, we really could. Let's see. Fredo said Barkley was going to come to our homes and fuck our mama. Yeah, I heard him say that to like a fan that he was standing. It was a clip and the fan was talking shit. And Barkley said, I'm going to come to your house and fuck your mom. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy, Fredo. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I know there's a lot of animosity between, but listen, there's limits. There's lines that shouldn't be crossed, and anything violent or physically harming people should not be going on. Like, I'll come down on Leaf fan for fighting each other after the fucking Lightning series. Like, that's so stupid. Why are y'all beating each other up in the concourse? And then, anybody who's doing kind of violent shit that can hurt people, that is dangerous, like throwing things like that, I'm against that. So Warriors fans, hurl the insults, yell at him, but do not hurl things, items, things at him. That is not right. I watched a clip this week. It's actually funny, of old WCW matches and where people were so mad they were throwing things at the wrestlers in the ring. And I was seeing pictures of like Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig get nailed in the face by full sodas and like ice and stuff like that, and how they dealt with it. I'm just like, man, that's got to suck, because you got all from any side. Somebody could throw something at you, nail you in the back of the head and stuff like that. It can be very dangerous. Crowds should not be throwing things at entertainers or people who are involved to entertain us. I don't care how mad they get you or anything like that. Sure, Barkley's a heel in Golden State, but it's like that's part of his job also, is to be a heel and get people excited and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's pretty funny. He said that off camera. I mean, obviously, he's not going to say that on the air. Seymour Pape saying, Warriors organization is trash. They took all of Oakland's money and bounced across to San Francisco. I think that's a sellout move. Fuck the Warriors. Raps Nation family. I mean, I can't disagree with this. They were based in Oakland until we closed their building for them. And then, boom, they jumped to the other side of the bay. And there's two very different economic stories in that area between Oakland and San Francisco. And what Seymour is saying here, I back right up with him. It's like, that is kind of despicable. That there's all kinds of people that just worry about bottom lines and money and stuff like that. And they make a lot of these decisions and stuff. And it may be the bad decision, because you're having a place that's a have-not now is even more of a have-not, and the haves have even more in their haves and stuff like that. I don't know the specific details of all of it, but this sounds very accurate, what Seymour's saying, because I do know they jumped the bay after we closed their building. They had to jump the bay and they went to the other side and stuff like that. Okay, and all right, Fredo's saying, I got to hold you Raps fans accountable. I don't know why you have to personally. Is it in your job description? You don't have to do that. Listen, there's no reason to bring up 2019 if you can bring up that kind of talk. Just, have some respect. Listen, I'm not coming in and tarnishing your championships with Golden State. I'm not. So there's no reason for you to do that to us. Because listen, you lost to a good team. You lost to the best team in the NBA that year. And the NBA champion of 2019 was the proper NBA champion. No matter how people want to twist it or say bullshit down on the other side of the border, it's just not true. Alistair saying nobody cared about Golden State Warriors before Curry. When he's gone, y'all will still be good, but no more chips. I think that's I would get behind that prediction that Alistair's right. That like really Curry's the driving force for this. He is the glue. He is the heart and soul of the Warriors team, the leader, the guy who really is the dude. And it's partly his attitude, his aptitude, and his ability that he has that kind of ability to make huge impacts on the game and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. We don't know for sure if they don't get somebody else that comes in and it kind of continues. But, that often happens when a franchise changing player, a dynasty kind of player like him leaves, then, there is a drop off. You can look at the Celtics. You can look at the Lakers after both Magic and Bird left. Those periods of time in their franchise were really dismal and really, really tough times. So Shane's saying they forgot that we were without our best defender, beat Golden State without OG. Yeah, I know we're missing players too. People were missing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's all so dumb. Seymour saying at Shane Waters, yeah, we got that chip with Dip. Alexi, you the best, man. Thanks, Seymour. No, that's just true. We got it. We got it. Canada got their first NBA championship, and we're going to get more. Trust me. We got Scotty Wayne Barnes on his way up with Pascal Siakam. These point forwards are going to be all over y'all. In fact, I want to get back on topic. Pascal Siakam, share the love club. Gratitude. Pascal was the second banana on our championship team. People don't realize this, that the combination of him and Kawhi together was very deadly. And that if all of a sudden Big Roy, Scotty Barnes is stepping into Kawhi's kind of like, I'm going to be more and more the man and leading this team statistically in all kinds of different ways. And Pascal can be more in that second banana seat next to him where he's a little bit more comfortable. We all can agree with that. I mean, Raptor fan will agree with that Pascal has been the man since Kawhi left. But he's much more comfortable maybe being the second guy, that not getting all the brunt of the attention of the defense and stuff, that he can be even better because Scotty's going to take a lot of the pressure and attention off of him. And if it's not Scotty, maybe it'll be OG. Maybe it'll be Gary Trent elevating his offensive game and being more consistent next year also. So it's that kind of stuff that we're looking at and talking about. Yeah. Fredo's saying, you didn't close the building. It was already being shut down. Well, motherfucker, the last time you played on that court in that building, we fucking won a championship on your home court, and then they demolished the building a week later. It's almost like we want to get this building where Raptors won a championship out of here as quickly as possible. That is just the pure truth of it. We closed your goddamn building, and you got an L on your last game in that building. So there's no denying those facts, okay? There's no denying those facts. That's just the pure truth of it. We closed your building, you demolished it a week later. So it's just how it is. Tom Duke saying, back to the Love Club. Does Spicy have a fluid schedule with breaks whenever, or will he go harder and ramp up near the season? I think that, listen, it was weird. In the interview they had with him yesterday, that somebody said to him, I think it was Josh Lewenberg, they said, Spicy, are you enjoying your vacation? And Siakam didn't answer him right away. It's almost like he's like, what vacation? Is how he kind of treated it. I don't think he's on vacation right now. We may see him on the islands right now and getting sun and being on the beach, but I think the man's working every single day still. I don't think that he's taking a day off. I think that he's actually working while he's there. And that's why he answered that question so weird. He's like, how's your vacation going? He's like, huh? What? He's like, that doesn't make sense in my brain because I'm not taking a vacation. Sure, I'm in a pristine island with beautiful blue water, but I'll bet you he's working his ass off even though he's there. Sure, he's getting his off time in the sun, but I'll bet you he's working his ass off still. And we've seen clips of Scotty Barnes working his ass off this week also. Like he is absolutely busting his ass this week in Miami. And Delano, I've seen Armani Brooks in the gym on his IG all over the place doing all kinds of stuff. Justin Champagny. These guys are working out and working hard on their game right now. They're not taking a month off at the beginning of the offseason. They're all already busy making sure they're improving their game and stuff like that. So Seymour saying, Fredo, no, Raps closed down your building, kicked you guys out of the playoffs that year. That's exactly right, Seymour. And just own it. Come on. You can't deny this. You know, you guys did not win your last game in that old Oracle Arena. That motherfucker was shut down with a championship going to Toronto Raptors, and your racist ass cop tried to stop Masai Ujiri from getting on the court. That's all the last memories you'll have in that old building in Oakland. That's what I'm going to say right now. That's just the damn truth. Fredo's saying, if Curry wins another championship this year, where would you have him on the all-time list? You know what? Listen, it's not even about ranking him with the other guys, because it's really hard for me to rank Steph Curry and LeBron with guys like Magic and Kareem and, the past guys, because it's such a different league. To me, what it means is, like, this is what I'll say about Steph Curry that's glowing, is that he's a game changer. If you're going to pick like 10 players in the history of the NBA that changed the game, he's one of them. So I would think that that's an even more impressive thing, because if you really want to look at it, he may not be in the top 10 players of all time, but he may be in the top 20. But I would say he's in the top 10 game changers for changing the game and making it totally a different kind of thing in some ways, just because of his three-point element and his range and the way he played. And he brought the three-point shot to such a focal point in the league as a whole. And that, like, you look at Shaq, he was a game changer. You look at George Mikan, he was a game changer in the very beginning as a new center. You look at Magic as a large point forward. These are game changers that changed the way the game's played and like the game. And that's why I put him there with that. Like LeBron, in a way, is a game changer, but it's not as pronounced to me as Steph Curry being a change. He changed the game. Let's basically just say, like, in the last 10 years, Steph Curry's changed the NBA game. And that in a way is more impressive than ranking him. But if you had to make me rank him among everybody, I would put him somewhere in the between 10 and 20, the greatest of all time. There's got to be 10 guys that are like, I picked Jordan first. Jordan's number one on my list. I don't even have LeBron in my top 5, y'all. It's like Jordan, Magic, Kareem, Larry, Wilt. I'll go in that direction. And then I'll put LeBron on the list at number 6. Yeah, I put those other five guys ahead of him as far as like greats. And even Duncan is right there, right next to LeBron. Like Duncan may be 6 and LeBron 7. And Kobe, I got to remember Kobe. He should be in there also. But I think that maybe Curry's in the early teens as far as things. Like maybe he's like 12 or 13, somewhere around there. That's how I look at it. Fredo's saying, Seymour, that darn injury bug infested arena and took us out. There was a lot that was going on there with you guys. Like, this is the thing. I don't think you guys were as deep in that year that we won the championship. And that the injuries that you guys had did really hurt in a way, because you didn't have the depth coming up as far as in the talent to help afterwards. And it's true. Kevin Durant is such an important, huge player. But once again, I don't like anybody saying woulda, coulda, shoulda, this would have happened if this person had been there or anything like that. You don't know that. And I do really feel, I told myself before that series started, I don't care who shows up for the Warriors, we're going to beat them, because in some ways we're a team of destiny. As soon as I saw Kawhi hit that 4-bounce shot against Philadelphia to win that game in Game 7, I was like, we're a team of destiny and we're trying to win a championship. And now, even after we went down 0-2 to Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals, I was still really confident, because the Raptors just had a certain air and a certain destiny kind of going on with them at that point. But it may be that you guys did have some injury. Like, there were issues that were going on with you guys. You were a little paper thin in some ways, is what I'll say. Stuff like that. Seymour saying the East is still up for grabs no matter who wins this year. Next year's a whole new page. Yeah. Listen, if we're seeing anything in this Miami-Boston series this past week, is that Jason Tatum is not a bona fide superstar. Like, once again, it's a similar thing to Ben Simmons. They see these young guys and they're like, ooh, they're marketable. Ooh, they're on teams that we want to push. So they push these golden boys that haven't really actually earned it completely. Like Tatum has earned it more than Simmons, obviously, but also in the way that people talk about Pascal Siakam as him not being a number one guy or him being not being a true superstar, they should be saying the same damn shit about Jason Tatum. Because to me, he's not really the man. In some ways, it's really got to be a dual attack with him and Jaylen Brown to make it work. And it's kind of like Jason Tatum and his secondary dude. And like that's why I get so mad when people talk about him being so dominant and being a real top superstar in the league, because he's at the same level as Pascal in some ways as far as that kind of stuff. A guy who can't totally take over every single night and be consistent, but can have really shining great games sometimes and can dominate the game from time to time, but not consistently. And that's the thing. I think that Tatum is way overvalued and overrated in this league. And that in some ways, Jaylen Brown might be the best Celtic on their roster. And Jimmy Butler is a better player than Jason Tatum. I'm sorry. That was just proven last night. Jimmy Butler is better than Jason Tatum. I will say it right there. But I agree. Seymour, next year, the East is going to be a wide open. Like, and people won't realize that the Raptors are actually going to be a top contender to be the top team in the East until it's too late. Like, I'll say it right now. I believe it, and I think it will happen because all of our players are going to get better this summer, and we were already the 5th seed. And in some ways, if we hadn't had injuries or a slow start at the beginning of the year, we would have been a top 4 seed in the Eastern playoffs this year. So I fully expect the Raptors, the Celtics. I won't even say the Heat because I don't know what's going to happen with them this offseason. And Kyle Lowry is looking like he's really almost out of gas. But I will say next year that we will be one of the Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors. They're going to be 3 of the top teams fighting for being the top team in the East next year. And people won't think the Raptors are going to be in that conversation because they always discount us. But mark my words right now, I'm saying this before these finals have even been played this year, that next year the Raptors are going to be a top 4 Eastern Conference team, if not the top team in the East. I'm going to say that right now. They might even be the top team in the East. Seriously. All right, let's see. I'm glad we're getting on the same page. Listen, Warriors fan, we like fans from other teams coming here. Just don't come in with that kind of talk here. This is a Raptor positive space. And anytime we start hearing that kind of stuff about 2019, we go on attack, as you can see. But we can keep it civil. There's a lot of common ground between Warriors Nation and Raptor Nation at this point. In fact, in some ways, I really love Steph Curry because of his connection to the Raptors franchise as a child. That when I worked at the Air Canada Center 20 years ago, I was sitting in the arena before the game watching Del Curry shoot around with his kids. And I said, boy, those kids are really good. They can hit NBA threes, and they're only like 3 feet tall. They're like bombing threes already. And I was like, so I've seen Steph Curry as a very young age in person in the arena bombing threes in like 2002. So I have a lot of appreciation for the Warriors Nation. In fact, I'm a big fan of TMC. I was a huge fan of TMC, Run TMC. That was one of my favorite teams in the 80s and the early 90s. Was that Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullin combo. And I also was a big fan of the Warriors when they had Chris Webber in the very beginning and stuff like that. So there's a lot of, we don't need to be animosity. There's no reason to do this. That's past history. You guys are trying to get another chip this year. And I'm trying to decide whether I want to root for the Miami Heat or the Golden State Warriors. And it really may just be dependent on whether the team that wins tomorrow is, because I'm definitely not rooting for the Celtics. So it may be rooting for Kyle Lowry and the Miami Heat against the Warriors, or it may be rooting for Steph Curry and the Warriors against the Celtics. It's because I will get on y'all's bandwagon if it is the Celtics in the finals. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let's see. Fredo, good series. Fredo's saying, Tom Duke, Curry going to get us a few more rings with the upcoming players like Poole, Wiseman, and still Wiggins, Clay, and Draymond. Wiseman feels like a bust, man. If he comes around for y'all, hey, that's great. Poole is a stud. Now, I'll say Poole is like, listen, if you're trying to get an heir apparent to Steph Curry, it might be Poole. But, let's keep it within reason. You guys get this one. That'd be great. First, you got to do that. And then, take it time from year to year. We don't know what happens each year. You guys could be a dumpster fire again real quick. We don't know. It could happen all kinds of different ways. Alistair saying Jalen Harris looks confident to return. People saying he's better than Trent. I bet he's close. No, 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 no. I know. Listen, all right. Some people here are huge on Jalen Harris, but I'm not one of them. I don't believe in him. I don't believe in him. He may look confident, but he doesn't look confident to me. He doesn't look right to me in different ways. Like I'm not hearing the right things from him in the interviews and stuff like that. So if he proves me wrong, that's part of why I'm saying this. I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's going to get any further than the shooting stars of Scarborough with J. Cole and playing on that team in the CBL. I don't think he's coming back to the NBA. I think even if he gets reinstated, he's a long shot to make it back on our roster. And if he does and he proves me wrong, that's great. That's what I'm doing today, Jalen. If you watch me and you hear me saying this somehow, some way, I'm saying that I don't think you're going to make it. So prove me wrong. That's what I want. I'm trying to motivate you to prove me wrong right now. I don't think you're going to make it, Jalen Harris, but you can prove me wrong. I'll be very happy too. So I want to be wrong in this case. So Jalen Harris, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I don't think you're going to make it, but if you prove me wrong, I'll be pleasantly surprised and very happy for you also. All right, let's see. Seymour saying, who's the best player? Norm Powell, Gary Trent Jr., Jalen Harris. Pick one. At this point, I'm going to say Gary Trent Jr. Listen, that's easy. Like we're going to look at Gary versus Norman since the trade. Obviously, I mean, Norman's been hurt. Norman's been in different places. There's different things he does really well. But I'm sorry, Gary Trent becoming a two-way player this past season made him so valuable and such a stud. And his age being only 23, look, this guy's going to get better like in the next 2 or 3 years, like even better. And because he's the same like these other dudes, like all he does is work on his game. They're all trying to improve. They're not resting on the laurels. This is the thing people don't realize about the Toronto Raptors. We have a special breed of players that are constantly evolving and developing and getting better, even if they're already at a high level. And I really, truly believe Gary Trent Jr. will become more consistent next year, that he's going to figure out a way to be more consistently contributing to our offense. That there's times where he goes completely cold. They're going to go away. We're going to see him be able to manufacture his offense either through the slashing to the basket with the little nice teardrop floaters, or with the little step to the side mid-range, kind of like spin around. I'm going to just step over here and shoot it over you real quick because I can create my own shot anywhere on the court. He's going to get better at this stuff, and he's going to make it more consistently. Because, like, listen, he was feast or famine at times. There would be games where we wouldn't see Gary do anything in the game. He'd be absolutely ineffective offensively, but he was given good contributions on the defensive side. And then there were games where he's gangbusters, and boom, you believe he could score 50 points in a half of a game, not even in a full game. You believe he could fill it up that quickly. And I still believe that's true, that he can fill it up that quickly. We're going to see him get a 50-point game for the Raptors. I'm not lying. Gary Trent's going to score a 50-point game next year for the Toronto Raptors and stuff like that. So obviously, Gary Trent Jr., and then I'll put Norman there. And I'm not trying to slight Norman. It's just that Norman kind of hit his ceiling with his potential, and that's when we traded him. We traded him right at his ceiling potential. And boom, we turned it around, and we got – it's kind of like recycling. We recycled and brought new blood in to build and continue to push up, while Norman may be exactly where he's going to go and stuff like that. He's a great pro. He's a solid veteran. He'll help whatever team he's on. But I don't know how much better or more growth Norman Powell's going to get to his game at this point, that he may be where he is. And that's that. And that's how I see that, Seymour. Great questions. I appreciate it. Alistair saying at Fredo, probably goes to show they were ahead of their time, still making finals all these years later. Yeah. All right. Fredo's got a Raptors question for us. Kawhi, Vince Carter, and Lowry. You got to start one, bench one, cut one. Oh, I love this question. All right. If I'm going to start somebody, I'll start Kawhi. It's no denying Kawhi Leonard is one of the most dominant players in the league. The stats back it up. Like his personal stats for games when he plays, he like wins 70% of the games that he plays in. Well, that's the problem, Clippers. He's not playing, so you're not going to win any games from him helping you. But if he's available and he's healthy, I'm starting Kawhi. That just makes sense. He's really one of the most dominant players in the league. And I hope Scotty Barnes gets more and more like him in the low post with his bank shots and his low post offense of just overpowering players and just scoring on his strength and that kind of stuff. Scotty's got that same kind of stuff that Kawhi's got. and we're going to see it more and more. Now, I'm going to bench Lowry because I love Lowry. I respect Lowry. And I'm going to cut the fuck out of Vince Carter way before he can fucking do his bullshit and not start trying for us. Yeah, fuck you, Vince Carter. You're cut. Starting Kawhi, and we're benching Lowry. And Lowry's coming in with his big booty and helping us win still. And he's a part of it. Yeah. Seymour saying, yeah, easily cut Vince. Yeah, cut Vince. Easy cut Vince. I mean, listen, there was a lot of sizzle, but not a lot of steak with Vince Carter in a lot of ways in his career. I hate to say it. The man's maybe the greatest dunker of all time in the history of the NBA, but he's not necessarily a winner or not necessarily the kind of guy that you build towards getting championships. That's just what I'll say. And it's evidence with his very long career that did not win a championship. So Alistair saying, I've always said Jason Tatum is a second option. Pascal's more of a number one than him because of shit like this. Yeah, I would agree with this, Alistair, that like Pascal looks like a more fully formed number one this past season than Tatum. There were just too many games where it's not even that he's hurt. It's just he disappears. Now, Pascal, he consistently showed up with a certain level of production this year when he wasn't hurt. He was hurt at the beginning of the year. He didn't look exactly right when he came back. He had a really bad game against Utah, and then he bounced back. He had one game really bad, and then the next night he was gangbusters, and then it was all good for the rest of the season with him. So you don't have this worry that Pascal's not going to get you at least double digits and a good amount of rebounds and some assists. He's going to contribute. Whereas Jason Tatum, he could fall right off the earth, and he's absolute garbage for a whole entire game and stuff like that. I like what you said there. And you know what? Maybe on the down low, Jaylen Brown is the number one in Boston. And they just like give all the media darling stuff to Jason Tatum for some reason. I don't understand that. Fredo's saying, yes, it's important to have a great front office and player like Curry. I agree with this also. Listen, the three best run teams in the NBA are the Toronto Raptors, the Miami Heat, and the Golden State Warriors. They have very, very good people in all the important places, whether it's Masai Ujiri, Pat Riley, Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, Nick Nurse. These are such important people at coach and GM and running things and stuff like that really, really help these teams have their character, their culture, and their winning mentality. And listen, seriously, Golden State fan, we are on y'all's level with that kind of culture here in Toronto. That's the thing that everybody wants us to just be like a meddling expansion kind of a non-relevant Raptor team, but that's not going to happen. As long as Masai Ujiri is our president, we have a good coach like Nick Nurse, and we're continually getting good players in. And this part of our culture is very similar to Miami Heat culture and Golden State Warrior culture. So, and I would say that those three teams in particular are the most like that. Boston's all washed and weird with tradition and curses and all kinds of other weird shit that's going on with them because they have a history of cheating and all kinds of different weird shit. And they also have a history of fans being very apathetic and not totally believing in their team. In fact, a Boston Celtics fan may be more like a Maple Leaf fan in some ways than a Raptor fan. And that's what I'll just say and leave it at that, especially after a game like last night. So, yeah, front office and having a good player like Curry really has helped the Warriors. Steve Kerr is a huge part of y'all's success. Like, listen, this dude really sets the tone with his team, and he's a badass. I have a lot of respect for Steve Kerr. And I do believe that those are the three best coaches in the league: Nick Nurse, Eric Spoelstra, and Steve Kerr. You know, they really are. G's saying Gary's so young, he's going to become consistent and be great, in my opinion. I think so, too. It's different than like a John Starks. John Starks of the New York Knicks in the history of the NBA was such a streak shooter. He's like either on or off. You could tell right away at the beginning of the game. Now, Gary has had that at times also. But the thing about him that's going to be different than Starks is that Gary is fundamentally in like his way of his shooting, his form, his way he goes about the game is more fundamentally sound than John Starks. John Starks was a little bit of a loose cannon. He's all over the place and like kind of shooting offside and like all falling over and all that kind of stuff. He didn't have good mechanics in a lot of ways. It's kind of like he played off of balling and luck. Well, Gary's not like that. There's something very precise about how he measures his shot and his form. He's very fundamentally sound. And it's really kind of him just tinkering with getting it exactly right so that he's going to be dead eye. And he's getting there. He's going to get there. And when he's feeling it real good, he should be counted on to be consistently like scoring really good. I agree with this, G. I think that the more consistent our offensive players can be is good. The defensive stuff's really good already. It's just on the offensive end, we saw stagnant times where we could not score a basket for like 5 or 6 minutes in a game, and that's awful. We can't have that anymore. We got have guys recognize on the court that we're having a hard time scoring. I need to step up and get a basket for us right now, other than just Fred. Fred was the only guy who was really kind of doing that in those bad times. So we need Pascal, we need Gary, we need Scotty, we need Precious, we need all of those guys. OG, step up and make those baskets when they realize the team's struggling to score. And I think Gary is going to be more consistent next year. I really do believe this. Fredo's saying, I feel bad for Embiid because voters were allowed to pick 2 centers for all NBA first team, yet they still voted Tatum, even though Embiid had a ridiculous regular season. I don't think that's true, actually. I don't think that they were allowed to vote for 2 centers because the way that they categorize it is they have the centers and you pick one for each team. And what Jason Tatum described about positionless all NBA voting is not true. And it hasn't happened. And it would have been bad for him and good for Embiid because Embiid would have been on the first team. But that doesn't make any fucking sense. You're not going to play Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic at the same time on the court. That doesn't make any fucking sense. So you can't put an all NBA first team out there with 2 centers. It just doesn't. It's making me like, why? Why would you do that? I explained it yesterday in my clip. It's exactly how it should be. Jokic is the MVP, even though Embiid is the leading scorer and all this kind of stuff. Jokic deserves to be number 1. This is the way it was back in the day. Think about the years when we had really, really good centers like Olajuwon, Robinson, Shaq. Those guys were always battling for all NBA first team between each other. And, they didn't get on the same team together. It would have to be like Olajuwon, first team all NBA. Robinson, second team. Shaq, maybe third team, something like that. Ewing somewhere in there also. So you can't do that. You can't put 2 centers on it. I'm sorry. That's actually the one position where you can't do that. Is because it just doesn't look right. It's like, what is Joel Embiid the power forward or something like that? Until they do positionless, which they won't do because it's not going to make sense. It's always going to be like that. I think Embiid's fine with second team all NBA. That's a great recognition. Sure, he got slighted in a couple of different ways, but honestly, Philly Nation kind of deserves this bullshit, in my opinion, just for being who they are and stuff like that. So I felt bad kind of for Embiid, but not really because he was such a jackass in our playoff series. Let's see. Yeah, I like the first team other than the guards. That's what I said yesterday. I wouldn't have put Tatum and Devin Booker on first team. I would have elevated Steph Curry and Ja Morant and put them on the first team with Giannis, Luka, and Nikola. That would have been my first team NBA. Fredo's saying SAS, Stephen A. Smith said he was allowed to pick 2 centers. Really? He said that? See, listen, I was going to the spreadsheet where they have like the voting and they have it very clearly delineated that this is the center voting, this is the forward voting, and this is the guard forward voting, and they're separated. Are you sure he's not saying that like he had to pick 2 centers or 3 centers between the 3 teams? Because it doesn't cross over that way. And if you look at all the structure of how they announce the results, it's the centers are all in a list, the forwards are all in a list, and the guards are all in a list. And they have it at least delineated like that. It just didn't make sense. Like, honestly, I'd be pissed off if both of them were on the first team because it just wouldn't look right. Like I said, you don't have 2 centers. You wouldn't put that team on the court. You wouldn't play Jokic with Embiid at the same time. This doesn't look right. All right, let's see. Tom Duke's saying, did you see James Worthy say all the players do now is shoot threes and don't know the fundamentals because they don't go to college? I won't disagree with James Worthy on this, Tom. I think he's right to a degree. And in fact, that's part of the secret of how you can actually win championships now is find the players that kind of do still play fundamentally correct. Because there are a lot of players that are all flash and dash, and they're just all about dunks and shooting and stuff like that, but they're not actually doing things like Scotty Barnes does. And that's part of the reason why the people that don't understand why Scotty Barnes won Rookie of the Year is partly because he's fundamentally a throwback, that he is very good fundamentally in all kinds of different ways with his game and stuff like that. I will agree with James Worthy on this. And that if a current player wants to gain an advantage in the NBA, get to the fundamentals. Go and really double down on fundamentals, and you'll find that you're going to get more opportunities and more success in today's game, because there's a lot of players that aren't playing with the fundamentals, making dumb mistakes, like dumb turnovers, dumb different things like that. I see people with high dribbles. Like Malachi Flynn has a high dribble that absolutely drives me crazy. That's not fundamentally good. Why is he dribbling it up near his shoulder? Don't do that. Because, if you were playing with Muggsy Bogues, like back in the day, that ball swiped by you, you're gone. He's gone. He's taking the ball from you. You dribble so high like that, Malachi. Drives me crazy when I see him do that. So there are little fundamental things that people are doing that aren't very good. That really old NBA players would eat you alive. They would pick you apart for making those mistakes. But there's not enough players doing that in today's NBA, so people get away with it a bit more. But, that is a good point. I think James Worthy's right on point with that. He said they shoot threes, get tattoos, and go on social media. Okay, I won't agree with that part of what James Worthy said. He is salty. He's a little bit salty. I mean, James is a kind of underrated legend. Like, he should be talked about more, but he's in the shadow of Kareem and Magic in certain ways, and he has a little bit of a Pippen mentality, like Pippen does with Jordan. And but I think that James Worthy honestly is a badass. I really loved his old game and stuff, but I can't totally diss what he's saying. I don't think he needed to put the tattoo and social media thing in there, although the social media aspect of things is very different and changed. I was just saying, Pascal, first player in history to not make All-Star team and get All-NBA. What a season. That's not the first time. This has happened 46 times, Alistair. In fact, it happened last season with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler did not make the All-Star team, but he made All-NBA last year. So this isn't the first time. I know it seems like that, and it may seem like that, but it's actually happened 46 times in the history of the NBA already that somebody is not an All-Star makes All-NBA. So, all right, let's see. Fredo's saying, I didn't know that. I wonder if some of the voters are Canadian. No, it's not true, Fredo. What he's saying is not true. There's been many, 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 many players that have done this. Yeah. Fredo's not. Listen, he's come around. Listen. I got my rant out, and we battled back to back. We've come to an understanding. He's let off on the whole talking about 2019 thing. And now we're just talking general NBA stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. As far as what I don't know what the diss is there, like, because he's basically saying I don't know, I didn't know that. I wonder if some of the voters are Canadian, because it's true. Some of the voters are Canadian. Michael Grange, Eric Kareen. Doug Smith. These are Canadian guys that are voting. I mean, the percentage isn't that big. I'd say there's maybe like 4 or 5 voters out of the 100 that are Canadian. So there you go. There's real stats. He's just playing. Listen, Fredo's been here during the season. We know Fredo's cool. It's just he came in with a ball of fire today. And, you got my ire. That's all that happened there. It is what it is. It's what it is. All right, we're just over an hour. Just getting back to the original subject today. Pascal Siakam, share the love club. Pascal, thank you for being a Raptor. Thank you for having the work ethic. Thank you for doing it for all of us. Thank you for doing it for your dad. Thank you for doing it for your brothers, for your mother, for all the people of Cameroon. Thank you for doing it for Raptors Nation. This is the one thing with our leaders on our team. They will never take away that they're champions. Pascal Siakam is a champion. Jason Tatum can't say that. Jaylen Brown cannot say that. There are many, many great players in this league that cannot say they are champions. And Pascal Siakam can say that. So I appreciate Pascal Siakam and the fact that he bought a house in Toronto and that he made roots here and that this is where he is in the offseason if he's not at the islands. I appreciate Pascal Siakam for believing in himself further than the perception that other people had for him and who he should have been. That he had the idea in his head, the possibilities of his athleticism, taking him to this level of play in the NBA. And he's just scratching the surface in a lot of ways. That the potential to get even more consistently great is still there. He is great, but he could be more consistently great. And I appreciate the fact that he's not resting on his laurels and that he is going for getting to be more consistently great and stuff like that. So, yeah, Seymour's saying Pascal is a true rap. Yeah, he really is a true Raptor. And, listen, he's going to always be patched in with us. I don't see him ever pissing us off and hurting us just like Vince or Chris Bosh or anybody like that in the past. That this man's a real one. He'll always be in with us, and he should be in the top 3 of the GROAT talk. I think that at this point, if I got to amend my greatest Raptor of all time ranking, we got Kyle Lowry at number 1, DeMar DeRozan at number 2. But I might have to put Pascal at number 3 with Fred right there close with him. That those are the 4 greatest Raptors of all time. And people will say, Kawhi this, whatever, Vince that, Chris Bosh this, fuck those guys. Because when I factor in greatness, I factor in all kinds of other stuff other than just how talented and how good they were on the court. That there's a lot of things to being great other than being like a superstar and being able to dunk and stuff like that. So Tom Duke's saying, have you tried our waffles with maple syrup? Canadian maple syrup, 100% Canadian maple syrup is what we like to pour on them waffles and pancakes when we're putting a route on a team in the NBA. Oh yeah, we like to pour that Canadian maple syrup thick, make that lead real thick and real like get all it all piled on with a pat of butter, and boom, the game's over and the Raptors won by 20. I love that kind of stuff. Oh yeah. Fredo's saying, Tom Duke, I think I had real maple syrup before it had that leaf on the glass bottle. It was really great. Are you talking about Miss Butterworth's? Are you talking about anything like that? Hey, listen, you got to have the 100% Canadian maple syrup. You can get those American brands and stuff like that. But listen, there's a reason why there's a maple leaf on the Canadian flag. And the maple syrup is a part of it. I'm telling you right now, Fredo, we might have to send you some. Seriously. Look, Tom's got the vats. He gets it in oil drum because he loves maple syrup. He gets so much maple syrup, he gets an oil drum once a month to his house. They come in with a dolly truck and they leave it on his porch. And then he just sticks the spigot in there and he starts a keg stand in it, stuff like that. Oh my gosh. Tom Duke, don't you guys have like 3 NHL hockey teams? We have more than 3. I think we have 7 at this point right now. We have 7, right? 4 teams? No, we don't have 4 teams. Let's see. Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal. That's 7 teams. 7 teams in the NHL. Yeah, 7. We have 7. You guys are forgetting about Winnipeg and Ottawa probably, because Ottawa Senators still play in the NHL, at least for now. And I think we should get 8. We should have 8 teams. We used to, Quebec, stuff like that. Yeah, we have 7. We have 7 teams in the NHL. All right, on that note, counting our NHL teams, and congratulations to Edmonton on putting out Calgary. That's great. That Battle of Alberta is just fun for Canadian NHL fans and seeing that kind of stuff and stuff like that. Fredo's saying, oil drums, are you serious? Tom's hopped up on a sugar rush. Yeah, maybe. You listen, he's a humanitarian. Maybe he has he shares his syrup with everybody in the neighborhood. The kids, the neighborhood kids are like, hey, Mr. Duke, can I have some of your syrup? Yeah, you go ahead, Jimmy. Get some syrup from the oil drum on my porch. I don't know. I'm just making this up. I do a lot of that, as far as things. All right, let's go Raptors. Let's go Tom Duke. Let's go Pascal Siakam. Can't wait for you to get back on stateside and in Canada. I know you're going to be going to California for Rico Hines ball very soon, Pascal. I just wish you a great, relaxing, loving off season for the rest of this off season, and that you come back healthy and ready for training camp, unlike last year. And that will be a huge, huge difference for how we start this NBA season compared to last season. That Pascal being healthy and coming in, Ken Birch getting his knee healed up from his surgery 2 days ago, and him being ready and coming in, all the guys ready and healthy and coming in for a good start. That will set the tone and help the Raptors be the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference next season. That's what I'm predicting, and that's what I'm hoping and praying for, and just visualizing all the Raptors healthy in training camp in the fall and stuff like that. All right, guys. Thanks again for being here with me for a little bit here on your Saturday morning. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Even you, Fredo. We always like to try and mend fences. There's too much division in this world. We're seeing everything going crazy. There's a lot of things that are just messed up in this world. So really, the more that we can find in common and not fight and go against each other, the better. Because that's part of recognizing differences and being okay with it and letting each other coexist. That's important. That's very important. All right, Fredo. Yeah, whatever. You're wrong. You are wrong. Listen, 2019 Toronto Raptors, world champions, Oracle Arena shut down. Kawhi Leonard, MVP, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, Jeremy Lin. We won that championship. Don't take that championship away from Jeremy Lin and stuff like that. All right, guys. All the best. I'll be back tomorrow. Sunday special report. We're going to be talking about Team Canada, y'all. It's all about Olympic Canadian basketball tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. So please join me. We'll be breaking down their roster and kind of like maybe speculating about who might be starting for Team Canada with this team of stacked NBA players on Team Canada this summer. It's going to be a badass team. I am so excited about Canadian basketball right now with Nick Nurse coaching and the roster that we have that's committed for the next couple of years for Canada basketball. It's just fantastic. All right. Thanks again, everybody, except for you, Fredo. All right, all the best, guys. Let's go, Raptors!